Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. This time we're expanding from a 1x1. This base has got 2 armored bunkers, a set of tight funneled compound bedrooms, a mini mountain roof that's jam-packed with head glitches for your solo, duo or trio group to manage. And it's all wrapped up into a nice little upkeep, introducing the Felina. Welcome to the tour of the Felina, guys. This one is a 5 TC monster. 4 externals, of course, all with a nice manageable upkeep spread across them. Disconnectable TC, we know how this one works, but just in case we don't, bang that roof down, drops the frame, and we can reconnect as so, if we need to replace our main TC and core, in event of moving it or after a raid. Coming into our gatehouses, we've got some nasty Petricos, and we have plugged the top half, so we can focus that bottom section and ensure we're not getting shot from anywhere we don't know. Opening out this double door takes us to a little compound loot room here. That's a bit of a spare square. If you do need more beds, you could swap it out there. But we get that loot room for now, and some nasty chain link turrets that cover the entire compound. Using the squares here makes that chain link really far from the turret, making it a solid 5 or 6 HVs to take out. Our compound is with wooden walls, however, we have matched it up with a large furnace, beefing up that compound cost to a much higher rock. On the opposite side, we have bedroom modules adjacent from our gatehouses, and again, those are Petricoed up with lockers as well. And we've plugged the top half to make us even safer in there, and some really nasty angles there, watching any compound breaches there could be. Along the main base, we have compound outposts with bedrooms wrapping all the way around, and a battery tucked in the middle there, nice and safe. And from here, even more naughty angles staring down that compound. Wrapping all the way around, we'll keep in mind that everything is symmetrical by 2, so it's all doubling up. We do once again have that OP concrete peak that is watching the breach from the around to our second floor, where we have some standard loot rooms, a couple of Vendy bunkers, and then some vault loot rooms as well. Breaking that twig will seal it up with an armored wall. 15 rockets to take out this Vendy bunker, and the nice thing is you only need to high qual the floor underneath and the wall in front to make it 15 rockets. Nowhere else can you access that vending machine. Here are our vault loot rooms, and those are a little bit stronger and harder to hit from the outside as well. Of course, you can window those off and keep the valuable juice in there. We can drop down into our starter base, and our starter base comes with 7 boxes, spaces for our workbench, and we've plugged our TC with a vending machine. Just going for absolute raid cost on this base here. Nice and small. This is for you guys who maybe like to get offlined a lot. I'd throw this base down and you guys will be safe and sound. And if that online comes through, you're going to have the roof and compound to play in and have an absolutely amazing time. Up the single door, again, we've got 2 options, and that's leading into our mobility. Got some really nice peaks up here too. These absolute monster tight angles, you can see. You might need to stand spray if that's a problem. You can throw down a couple of boxes to crouch on too. Extra door here for some furnaces. And then we can exit out onto our roof after winding through some garage doors. Double exit out onto roof here, and you can see 2 turrets cover our entire roof nicely, which is really cool. Total of 4 turrets in compound and 2 turrets on roof, which is nice for those kind of lightly modded servers that do have a turret limit. This base fits right in there. Overall, the roof is just really aesthetic, really nice, and it's jam-packed with head glitches all around, giving us some nice peak downs. And the multi-layered roof is always perfect for fighting against taller raid bases. Turrets see you everywhere, no blind spots as I mentioned, and we've got the door peaks here as well that you can close and drop out of, or if you'd like to exit roof without giving a sound cue, you can also jump underneath that turret and spring into action. That's our base. Let me go ahead and break down the total build cost for you guys a little bit more in depth. Here's the total build cost, and here it is in box amounts to make it easier to visualize. And lastly is the total upkeep spread between 5 TCs, the main TC holding the majority of that upkeep. Now we'll go ahead and jump into our tutorial. Appreciate you guys making it this far. And let's go ahead and throw down a 1x1 and give it a triangle for our TC. TC is going to get pulled to the right there, just like that. And our door is going to swing out the way, and that's later on when the vending machine is in place. We can still access it nice and easy. 3 triangles on the left and right, and 1 off the back. This back side is going to be a jump up here. And then we have our loot rooms. In the beginning, you can give a half shelf to 1, and potentially leave 3 triangles open for a workbench and some bags and things like that in the beginning. And later on, if you need more loot space, you just turn that one into a loot room as well. Then from there we have our kind of exit. That window is for a loot room later on, but for just now you can just add in window bars. And that's our starter base. Next we're going to get the multi-TC section out the way, so we're building out with 2 triangles, 7 squares, breaking everything and returning with triangle half moons. Should be looking for a triangle nice and up close to the base here, and then you're going to wrap around with more triangles until you've got a little row just like that. On the sides we're creating where our concrete barricade is, and then in the center is our airlock, and it's all set up looking like that. We get double doors in the middle, and we pull our jump up through from main base side. Then we're just going to add our floors in here, and you just copy them as I do. And there we go. Some of these walls could be annoying to place, so just place them from outside. If they're red, don't panic. And same with these ones too, you need to move your mouse around a little bit. Make them hard side face you, so we get that nice conditional bump, and that's going to cover up any gaps in our bunker, even though it doesn't matter because it's a Vendy bunker. That's our mobility there. And we'll add our compound loot room at the back of this as well. At the moment all of this is going to be decaying, so we are going to connect everything we just built first off to a gatehouse, and then that gatehouse to an external TC. Our external is disconnectable, so we're building out with 4 squares. And then we are getting our little 2 triangle external down, making sure to double half wall to reduce that stability for the disconnectable module. Get your TC in there and link it all up with square frames. And then we'll build our gatehouse. Gatehouse is a combination of windows with some square batricos, adding in some low walls to make sure nobody can hide underneath here. And then we're going to wrap it in frames for chain link later on. And we're going to raise the whole gatehouse up by a half height, allowing for boxes and 2 auto turrets. Once you've done that, I'm going to show you guys the deployable placement for this one, just in case it's confusing. We are going to be operating off of horizontal embrasures, and we're going to balance ourselves on small boxes to get the perfect angle here. Placing 3 is the perfect amount, but you can do less, of course. Gives you some space to back up on these boxes to get that angle even wider. Once you've got all the boxes in place, we are going to plug the top half of the batrico, because we're not going to be utilizing that angle. With a large box, turrets go in, chain link goes, and make sure you add in that frame to connect everything together. If anything's decaying, it's probably because you forgot that frame. And then you go ahead and do everything we just did on the opposite side of the base. Next, we're going to work on the other half of compound, which is the funneled bedrooms. We're going to start off by adding 2 squares. Each of them are going to get a window and a double door, and they're going to line up together like that. Then from there, we're going to do a short build out to get us a nice triangle we use later on for a roof. And we're going to half height this with a half wall and a floor to patrico our bedrooms. Same on this side. And there's build order here, so let's make sure we do it in this exact order. Then in the center, we're going to do a short build out in twig. And we're going to turn this triangle into a square, if that makes sense, using this build out. If you don't know what I mean by that, just copy what I do, basically. That's what we're doing here. And we wrap it around, and you'll get this nice half moon here, and you can see that funnel already forming before we've even got any walls down. In the center, we've got a battery spot, and on the left and right, we have our single doors with the shotgun traps. Expand off of this for our gatehouse. Well, it's actually a bedroom on this side. You can get your battery in there. Spot for the shotgun traps. And you'll also have a spot for shotgun traps coming off of main base 2. And you can just go like that. Give your funnel a little bit of a ceiling so those bedrooms are a little bit safer. And then we get even more bedrooms out here on compound that are going to help to cover any high wall breaches. Those are going to get vitrickled once again. Then all of this can get connected to an external TC. And again, we're going out 4 squares to make it a disconnectable. And we can link all that up with frames. And once you've done that, we can go ahead and do everything we just did on the opposite side of the base. Now that all that's in place, we are going to go ahead and do a small build out here. A square off of the bedroom and 2 triangles off of the gate. And that's going to close up a nice gap here, making it a 1 large furnace gap in our compound here. We do need to get rid of those foundations to make the placement easier for the furnace. But yeah, now we can close up our full compound with 1 large furnace, making the high wall cost a little bit stronger. What's nice is the high wall placement is super easy. You just place them as far in as you can, and then meet in the middle. And then you throw your furnaces in place, just like so, and the compound should come together like that. I missed that ceiling there, throw that on. And then we're going to work on second floor. Wrap your second floor around, including all the squares. We'll start with the window loot room for now. We're going to carry out a half-height triangle, and then throw a ramp underneath. The tallest part of the ramp facing towards the triangle here. Just like that. And you can still place all your boxes from that angle, so don't worry. They could be squint, but it's not that deep. And we do the exact same thing on this room too. Highest part facing the window. And then we can just seal that in. On the opposite side, we get a standard loot room with a door. And again, we're going to ramp that off too. Add some door frames in the middle, and then no more door frames. Vending machine is going to go as far back as possible. There is room for error here. You can definitely mess up, and these are not cheap to break. So get that as far back as possible, and then a wall in front. And double check that your bunker opens up, like so. As for the ceiling, again there's some room for error, making sure that we copy the gaps that I have with these triangles. So we're bringing everything off of the multi-TC side. Nothing's coming from main base when it comes to those triangles. And double check underneath that your bunker is still open. Then we can seal up a little shooting floor level here and an airlock out. There's only 2 frames there, so don't worry about trying to place that last one. And then just sealing on top of that. Add half walls off of your squares and windows off of the sides of them. Just like this. In the center we can wall in towards our roof exit. And half walls go all the way around the main square in the middle. And then you can get your 2 windows to exit out. A couple of floor frames go down and a triangle in the middle. And then you can get those roof ramps through. You're going to want to mismatch the grade of these roofs so they don't join. And preferably you can use the DLCs here to thin out that roof and make everything look a little bit cleaner and easier to move around. If you don't have the DLCs though, then yeah, unlucky. From underneath we're going to place in these temporary frames that will allow us to get the ones above. Make sure you break them. They do break the bunker. That's why they're temporary frames. Absolutely remove them afterwards. And there we go. And while you're building the base, just leave the bunker open to make sure you're not making any mistakes, because if that thing does close while the roof's there, something's gone wrong. Now for our little mini mountain roof, we're going to raise up above our funneled bedroom with some frames and a window, giving us that nice peak. Then we'll build the spot for the turret, and of course that little waterfall as well. Leaving an extra triangle out for that windmill later on, and the same over here. We're going to need to raise up some more frames so that we can close the gap on our roof using a couple of double doors. And that will give us a tighter angle as well and make things a little bit safer up there. So there's 4 of these in total. And then if we come around to our bunker side on the front door, we're going to raise up the frames on the left and right where our concrete barricade peak also goes. And that's going to get brought up all the way to the top. All the way up here. And then we do window low wall, and if this roof isn't placing, it's an issue with the stone grade. All you've got to do is rotate the frame or upgrade it to metal if you're having any issues at all, and you'll get that ramp in there. Nothing's patched, so don't worry. And then we get the single door peak here, and that roof ramp covers that nicely. And don't forget to add in some frames across the kind of shooting floor level to turn all of these into much tighter angles. Then you can plug the top half to keep your head safe and start beaming people from your one-way peaks. Exact same thing over on this side of the base. We'll add in that single door peak too. And your frames. Now all that's left to do is throw down a couple of windmills and enjoy living out of the Felina. Hopefully you boys and girls have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. This base is an absolute bang, and I hope to see you out there on some servers. Remember to check out howl.gg, and I'll see you boys and girls in the next video. See you in a bit.